How to help my baby. Serious hospital time, but it's not HIE. Listen, guys, I know you're coming to me new, but I've been saying this for a long time. If you have problems with that first breath, which you did with meconium swallowing and everything like that, and what was going on, hospitalization, I can guarantee you without some sort of intervention, you're going to have problems with milestones, especially vertical. Why? Because your first breath is the baby's way, or your way of discovering gravity, how to oppose gravity and do it successfully. Any child that cannot oppose gravity in breath, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to have issues opposing gravity in walking, right? So just that alone, you need to start a program. Now, just that alone doesn't mean you're going to get anybody to listen to you or you can get into that, but you have concerns or delays. But now we have some serious hospital time. This is my specialty. Having a son with severe infections, 29 surgeries, let me tell you, our kids go through this and they go home, go. If you had 42 days, my dad had 5 days in the flipping hospital, Thursday to not even 4 days in the hospital, and he's in rehab for atrophied weakness after just being in bed. Our kids don't get this stuff. So this is you're there to work with your doctors. You need to work with movement. So what you're looking at with this, right? And let me just drop my camera. So what you're looking for, first of all, you're always going to start with my newborn movement assessment, and you can do it at any age. I know your baby's not a newborn, but at the same time too, we need to work on that breath. My newborn movement assessment course and my breathing course are free, and you really you've got to watch it. You want to come in underneath the system so the breath can happen. Right? Most people make the mistake of having way too much of heavy input onto their system. And this is where the breathing course is good. I know people are going to say, my pulse ox are fine. I'm telling you, it's the organization of breath. When a child breathes for the first time, they have foam in their lungs, and that force from the palate strike, from having a vaginal delivery, that palate strike opens up just like a champagne cork, and that baby's force of the lungs open up, and the force of gravity. Force of gravity is a first-time experience right at birth. It's there from the day we're born to the day we die. It's the only non-optional force that we have to deal with. But the rib cage expands and the intercostal muscles sort of snap into position. So that is in a nutshell that first breath organization. I've learned how to completely oppose gravity in breath. And now eventually I'll start my hands and all that. And this is where people misconceptualize the reflexes, because you're looking for more of an open and close. Your body's parts, it's almost like seaweed as they get used to, or like when you're in the pool and you go to make those first movements. And this is what you'll start seeing with the palmar and the plantar, and that Moro is not a startle reflex. It's just your body's ability to push against gravity in all directions and get the movement going in all directions from the pelvis, because this is the only place where you have movement from all directions. Right? I can put movement down my elbow or back of my elbow, but I can't create a movement with my elbow. So, those hinge joints don't come into play. But now you're putting your child in tummy time. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not have a successful tummy time. So when you're saying there's random rollovers, I can tell you right now what your rollovers look like is like a heavy head off to the side, and kind of you're getting a flip, which is not a rolling over. So the next course you're going to want to be in is a tummy time course. Again, your child's really trying to oppose gravity through almost like a plank push. And that's not how babies do it. A tummy time really should just be this nice crossing midline. I go to sleep, I come back up, I go over, that's what tummy time should look like. And when I'm here, then I eventually can play and do those kind of things, versus here, I can't play. First of all, no milestone happens with your eye off the prize, right? And then I'm using my hands to push off. And then you're going to get people in your life saying, well, they just have to get stronger. Well, they're not at Gold's Gym. They're here to be babies, and the babies aren't meant to be strong, and they're meant to be able to just push their pelvis in, and that's what raises, right? That's how the movement should look like. Not butt up, I'm trying it, and now they're pushing it. You know, that's you failing in front of your trainer at the gym. Our babies are not adults, they're babies, and that's what you're looking for. But what you need to come after under and understand is, again, that breathing course and the tummy time course is that spine needs to breathe. You shouldn't feel like you're picking up your child. I can tell you right now, 42 days in the hospital, your child feels heavy. And the first thing we have to do is undo all those blown IVs, that we have to undo all the leads, the intubation, the NG tube, all that stuff that was in there. It's just too heavy for a baby, and you just need these just weight transfer, transitional movements in with rotational responses. But combine your where you're at with the newborn movement assessment. But honestly, I really would get in the worried parent support group, because you're going to need all the foundational milestones. We need to rock and roll. You know, at 42 days plus, and I'm sorry, I don't remember exact how old your child is now, but we're getting into 4 months and we don't even have tummy time correctly. And I want you to have the support you deserve, and that's something to consider. And that's where you want to go. You have to undo hospitalization. I wish I had a better word for it. You know, we're not meant to have tubes on our faces, Tegaderm tape, 24-hour beeping, and the system really gets, it's not traumatized. The system's just not available to move. The body's not available to move. So now all of a sudden you bring it home and you put it on the floor and you're like, okay, do tummy time. And they're just used to the pulse socks, everything tying them down. I mean, I can give you plenty of evidence that your child just had too much restrictive movements, and you can't create movements in babies based off of restricting movements. When you restrict a movement in a baby, I don't care if it's too much car seat time or, yes, you've had serious hospital time, but you're going to get deviations, and the deviations are what show the development. Please, 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 I'm going to say this to your face. My thing's too low. Sorry. I'm going to tell you this right now. What I'm telling you, you're going to get just wait, you don't know, you don't have HIE, all babies are different. All babies are different when it comes to when they're not developing properly. Otherwise, they should be all the same. You already had all babies are different because you had 42 days in the hospital. Whether you work with me or somebody else, I'm going to tell you right now, I want 2 hours a day. I would like a follow-up video within 2 weeks to see where you're going. I want you to take this seriously, because you are taking it seriously by posting a video. I'm not here to scare you. I'm telling you, this is your boot camp. Baby Boot Camp 2 is another program that I have. But you need to get somehow where you're working with your child around 2 hours every day. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, 2 hours, I got to start now, do 2 hours straight. Change a diaper to 15 minutes. They're like right before feeding, just put it in. You'd be surprised how much it would act up. If you hung out with me all day, you'd probably be worked on for 2 hours, because I can't even take a picture with you without filling you up. So, but please, you're going to get led astray. And I don't want you back here at 6 months and 7 months old and now really chasing the 8 ball. You're here early enough, but we got to get on it. But we've got to get the hospital out of the baby. And I've got all the different programs for you. But when you get one of the support programs, it has all the developments in it, so you can just pick and choose. But I want you, again, to start off with newborn movement assessment, breathing course, and tummy time course. If that's where you're going to just start, just to try out the courses and get that. So I'll put the links up. Thanks. Hi, Christine.